We all probably remember learning in school about the so-called food pyramid, but now there is a new set of dietary guidelines that break a lot of the traditional rules. You need to listen up on this one. Dr. Randy Schuck has more details.
Joining me now is Carissa Bealert, a registered dietitian, and you're here to talk about what we get confused about every year, the outcomes of the latest, what we should eat, what's good for us, what's bad for us, all that other stuff. So let's go with what's changed. How about that? Yeah, well, with the new dietary recommendations, they are recommending this to go into effect for our 2015 guidelines. One of the big things is that eggs, which we have vilified for so long about cholesterol, they're saying, you know, maybe that dietary cholesterol might not be so bad for us. And this is something that dietitians kind of have been saying for a while. You know, biologically speaking, when you eat that dietary cholesterol, it doesn't automatically, boom, deposit in your arteries. It's a much more complex mechanism. And we do need a little bit of cholesterol in our bodies. So the egg yolk, which actually where a lot of the nutrition is of the egg, could be your friend now. Okay.
Yeah.
So what happened? Did we change, or did someone finally get smart?
You know, what goes on with dietitians, we're always looking for the newest evidence-based science, the newest research. And so we do have now a growing body of research to support that there is not a conclusive evidence that the dietary cholesterol from things like egg yolks raises the cholesterol, and it doesn't raise our LDL cholesterol, like we've been saying, which is such a culprit of so many other preventable diseases.
So now let's talk about what does raise our LDL. So we're talking about fatty acids, those sugary, sweet things. So let's go through the list of no-nos, and then we'll go through the list of good ones, okay? So what should we avoid this year?
What we should avoid is, funny, it's what most people know they should avoid, but they don't do anyway, and they're really focusing on red meat and processed meats because those have been linked to certain cancers, as well as red meats have recently been linked to an age-related cognitive decline. And also sugar, excess sugar. There's 155 million Americans who are overweight or obese. Now, sugar itself doesn't cause that, but it can be a culprit in the excess calories that do so. It's trying to limit your extra sugar to about 10% of your daily intake.
So that's like 3 tablespoons, right?
Yeah, right. There's about 200 calories if you're on a 2,000-calorie diet. And that's not talking sugar from fruit or sugar from milk, but sugar from your sodas, your candies, your cookies, your things that you like.
But the dietary stuff's not that good for us either, right? So I mean, we're looking at the long-term effects of dietary, saying that that's an issue too. So what do you do?
Well, what you want to do is you want to build your diet around whole foods, around your fruits, your vegetables, your whole grains. And for your protein sources, really look for those vegetarian protein sources like legumes, nuts, seeds, things like that. That's what you want to build your plate around, and then enjoy everything else in moderation.
So there's this My Plate program that kind of gives people the ideas of what we can eat and the portion controls and pieces like that, because Americans think that supersizing is a good idea. But you can supersize good foods and still do too much of it, right? So general idea, portion-wise, you know, ounces always are confusing for us.
It is. You want to, when you're looking at your plate, you want to fill half your plate with fruits and vegetables. So right off the bat, no matter if your plate is this big or this big, if half is fruit and vegetables, it's going to fill you, and it's going to give you a lot of those nutrients you're probably not getting enough of. And then something that the guidelines talk about, and you just talked about, ounces and portions. Let's talk about meat. The portion of meat you eat should be the size of the palm of your hand. Now, your palm is bigger than my palm, which means you should have a little bit more. So that's a good way to gauge it. 3 ounces. I've never been to a steak restaurant with a 3-ounce steak on the menu. So it's kind of about being aware of that and knowing that it's okay to take some home. And then also, if you filled your plate with half those fruits and vegetables, you're going to be a little fuller and be more satisfied with a smaller portion.
But I got 2 hands, so that means that's 2 palms, right?
One behind the back. One behind.
Fine, that's fine. All right, so looking at alcohol, our friend that helps us do dumb things and eat badly, but also there's some changes in caffeine uses as well.
Yeah, they're actually saying that caffeine is okay up to 400 milligrams a day, which is the equivalent of 3 to 5 cups of coffee. The key, though, is a cup is 8 ounces, not the giant cup. So keep it in moderation and then watch what you're putting in it. But coffee has been linked to a decreased risk of type 2 diabetes and cardiovascular disease, which if you're a coffee lover, that's good news. And then alcohol, specifically in women over 50 in moderation, is linked with improved outcomes.
Yeah, but moderation.
Moderation, which is basically one, and then again, it's not the wine glass that pours the whole bottle in it. It's the 4-ounce serving, so it's about that.
And red wine better than hard alcohol? Any latest updates on that one?
Nothing's changed with that. You know, red wine has the benefits of the resveratrol and the antioxidants, but if you're using the hard liquor, you can sometimes get less calories depending on what you mix it with if you use something like a soda water or just simply water and a squirt of lime.
Talk about those mixers real quick, because coffee is good for you, but the sugar and the creams that we put in it, was it a coffee latte or all the other good stuff? stuff that you can get yourself into trouble with.
It goes right back to the excess sugar we talked about. So coffee by itself with a little bit of cream and a little bit of natural sugar, because again, the artificial stuff isn't always great for us, is good in moderation, but exactly a cafe au lait with a mocha cream, you've just outdone your excess calorie budget. And a lot of times with excess calories, they don't make us feel full. So we can have them, then have the bagel, then have the egg, then have the bacon, and we've had a 1,200 calorie breakfast.
And that's what you get all day, so you should be done, right?
Exactly.
So also thinking about those drinks that we mix in there too, those pre-mixed drinks, but also any of the mixers we have. Not that we're going to help you with your alcohol intake, but perhaps maybe soda water instead of something else would work better.
Exactly, and always we recommend alternate. If you're going to have more than one drink, alternate water in between it to help hydrate and help your body take a little bit of a break.
Yes, after St. Patty's Day is probably a good idea. All right.
Says the pregnant lady.
Yeah, the seafood is the last piece. We always hear seafood's a problem.
Yeah.
Seafood's really not that much of a problem.
What's funny is this is one of the things that my clients are so confused about, wild versus farm raised, and here's what the guidelines are saying. Just eat it. Just eat more seafood. Don't get so caught up on this. Obviously, the wild is going to have a lower environmental impact and be more sustainable, but we are so behind on getting enough food in our diet as Americans. So farm, wild, eat it. And you know what the best source of omega-3s for you and the most sustainable fish is? You probably haven't had any of it in the last month. Sardines.
Ooh, wait. I had a Caesar salad.
Okay,
Yeah,
but sardines are an excellent pick.
Yeah, but
So
they
it's a little
kind
tip right there.
of taste a little more interesting than the other ones, but good.
I haven't had any in the last month. I can tell you that.
Well, thank you so much
Thank
for joining
you.
us. This actually, who says registered dietitians are boring?
That's right, we're fun.
This is a nice conversation, so thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Now, those new guidelines are under review by the Department of Health and Human Services and the USDA. Once those are approved, they'll be published and stay in place for the next 5 years.